Hey, it's Juan. Welcome to the August issue of your VMA SITREP. Some really important information below. I hope you read all the way through. Now, we have a very special guest today. Dan Kennett is a consultant based here in the Rosslyn VA. Been aboard about a year and a month.
That's correct.
But he's got a really interesting story. He's a Marine, but took an unusual path. Let me take a stab at it. You fill in where I've got it wrong.
Go ahead, give it a shot. Dan
was a college grad up in the Seattle area.
Correct.
In fact, he's a musician, very, very talented musician. And he remembered the Seattle Wind Symphony and got this idea to join a Marine band. Now, if you know anything about the service musicians, it's an incredibly challenging audition process. One has to be accepted first. After auditioning, and only upon acceptance do you then go get the privilege of going to boot camp if you're a Marine. In Dan's case, down at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego.
San Diego.
Tell us about that experience.
Do you want the story as a musician or the story as a Marine?
Tell us what drew you to want to be a Marine musician.
Sure. As Juan mentioned, I grew up in the Seattle area. I never imagined that I would ever be affiliated with any military establishment, especially being a musician. But one of the names that constantly comes up as in high school, just pursuing music is the President's Inn. It's one of the premier establishments in the United States, and as you know, it's right here in Washington, D.C. So I actually, in college, took an audition with the group. I flew from Seattle, Washington to Washington, D.C. I paid for it myself, unfortunately. Starving college kid,
right.
Musician, all of it together to come here, and unfortunately I wasn't successful. I showed up and there were about 80 clarinet players, master's degrees, doctorates, all auditioning
all
for this. Yeah, all wonderful musicians. I had a chance to hear them play and I was like, I'm not getting this. But I flew home pretty discouraged, and that was just it. I was just really sad and really discouraged. A huge hit to my ego until I get a phone call from another Marine, and this Marine recruiter mentioned that there were other bands in the Marine Corps. And it took me a while to warm up to the idea, but I ended up taking another audition, successfully passing the audition, and that won me a one-way flight to San Diego, California.
And boot camp.
And boot camp, right.
Now the boot camp experience is interesting. You are an accomplished professional musician at this point, and now you are standing on yellow footprints.
Correct.
In San Diego with a bunch of fired up 18-year-old kids.
Very gung-ho.
Who are
right.
But that you probably stuck out as a leader and more mature and seasoned right away. I suspect they saw that. Right.
It was definitely an interesting experience, being surrounded by those that are 18, seeing the fire in their eyes and how it differs from mine. Leadership, I think I do have a natural presence in leadership, but in terms of surviving boot camp, I wasn't the most fit. There were a lot of other Marines or a lot of other recruits that took that title from me. So, I definitely said I was one of the most mature. I was also one of the most quiet, which is one of the key factors of surviving Marine Corps.
How does doing 1,000 pull-ups affect clarinet play?
Ooh, well, my shoulders crack. My knees crack as well as I get older. But, I feel stronger, I feel healthier, and my wrists are definitely, my grip strength definitely can hold a clarinet a lot better than I could before.
It's longer than a rifle.
It is, absolutely it is.
You continue to be a musician. You are
Correct.
a member of the Fredericksburg Symphony.
Right. It's a new organization. So Fredericksburg, Virginia has not had a symphony. If you're thinking symphony, you think of the National Symphonic Orchestra. But within the past year or so, the institution was put together, and I'm the principal clarinetist of the Fredericksburg Symphony.
Oh, very cool. Right. Now, along with being a wildly proficient, professional, accomplished clarinet player, you're also a sax player.
Correct.
And I, of course, immediately recruited you for the Navy Count Band Top One, and you'll be sitting in with us this summer, I hope.
Yes, that's the idea. I look forward to playing with everyone, and
it's
hopefully
we're fired up too.
Right.
We're fired up too. Now, let me close with this. What's as a professional Marine musician, what is the preeminent tune to play?
This is a very hard question to answer. The ones that probably hit closest to me in my heart, I'm not a bugler, so I can't play taps.
Right.
But one of the things I can play is the Marines Hymn. It's very meaningful for the institution. as well as the American public. And so one of my favorite arrangements of the Marine Corps hymn is by Sammy Nestico, who was a Marine himself, Marine musician, who later became one of the most prominent composers for our military music. Has arranged a beautiful rendition of the Marine Corps hymn. And you know, I've played it a couple times, and I would 100% love to just play it over and over and over.
That's beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful.
Devil Dog, thanks for sharing your story with us. Glad to have you aboard.
Hoorah.
Look forward to playing some music together.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Enjoy the issue, everybody.